Hello and welcome to another update video about Cardano. In this video, we want to focus on Bitcoin and Cardano, but a little bit more on Cardano in this video. Only briefly want to take a look at the Bitcoin chart because it hasn't really moved a lot. And then we take a look at Cardano. But what a day, last couple of days here for Cardano holders again, looking really good again. Bear in mind, we are, as Cardano holders, we are used to fake outs. So I'm actually not too excited, but it's starting to look interesting. Of course, I'm happy when prices are going up after a buy order was triggered. And yeah, every channel member knows that my buy order, and I know a lot of you have actually bought at this price as well. A lot of people from the channel membership bought at the $1.08 level, which was the perfect low. And Cardano really sticking out here as one of the top cryptos in the last 24 hours, which is fantastic, which in my view has been a combination of what the chart has done the past few days, and also obviously the Sunday swap news, which we've said here, and not I know I've said that a lot of people, other people did say it, and also a lot of people expected the price to go up when we finally have a trigger, and the trigger in this case was the Sunday swap launch date is announced, which is the 20th of January, which is fantastic. Only as a beta, but as a fully functional DEX, which is fantastic. And let's take a look at it. By the way, I plan to participate in the ISPO as well, so the initial stake pool offering. And I have to choose my stake pool for that still. So Bitcoin currently, need to go here to the 1 hour chart to just show you imminently what is currently happening with Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is continuing to be here in this pretty much expected consolidation at the moment, stays above this ascending trend line. The red line is what I showed you could happen, which is pretty much what it's doing at the moment, just consolidating a little bit, maybe retesting once more that support line and then maybe break into this channel. That's pure speculation at this case, but it is a valid scenario after that cup and here possible handle that's forming there, and the higher low, that is the conclusion at the moment that one can come to, just to speculate a little bit what the price could do next really. Overall, you know that on this channel we expect the final sell-off, and the question is just when it's going to come, and that is hard to predict. But we can see at the moment that we are following here an ascending trend line. So the logic would say, you know, we continue to move alongside this ascending trend line, and we'll try to break this horizontal resistance. And then we could get into this blue target area, which would be that wave 4 target area. And ideally, I would want to get the price to see at least here this white line, which is sitting here at around, well, 40, a little bit higher than 46K, 46.2. which would be here that diagonal line from that head and shoulder neckline. A few different ways to draw this neckline of that head and shoulders here, that massive head and shoulders. That is one way, and if we get back to that level, that would be a retest in my view of that neckline. From there we could then move down. But Cardano is what is very interesting. You know, we've been holding throughout here, really been with us talking about Cardano here pretty much every day. They are the most popular videos, and I know that a lot of people watching this channel really hold Cardano. There's been a period where there's been a lot of frustration, and lately that we see that a lot of other cryptos are just now coming into this sell-off, into this correction that Cardano has pretty much already completed. It's good to see that we finally start to get out of this. We need to make sure that we understand that the downtrend officially isn't over yet. You know, you can still draw various descending trend lines here, and there are different ways always of drawing them. And certainly one way would be that just here on the daily to use the candles, just the candles, not the wicks. And yes, we only have 2 touch points here. Normally you need 3. But I think it would only be logical to expect the price when it reaches this trend line here to find some resistance. I would be surprised if it doesn't. I think there could be some resistance coming. What is now happening? So obviously down here, we've been talking about the price possibly bottoming out. With that lower low, there was of course a real possibility that we could see the dollar level. To be honest, we did come down all the way to $1.07. My buy order was triggered at $1.08. This is part of the buy and sell orders that I put on Discord for channel members. And you know, I didn't know obviously that the price will stop at 108, but the reason why I didn't put it at $1 is that normally when you've got such a significant line, sometimes it just doesn't reach it. So you put it comfortably away from it, not too far though. But that was perfect, I think perfect timing, and the sell order hasn't triggered. The sell order is much higher, so I think it was a great way of buying into Cardano at the low, and it has worked out. By the way, if you want to see my buy and sell orders and participate in the community, support the channel so I can put more content out there and better quality content, then maybe you want to consider to join as a channel member, and you can find the links to that in the description. Now, since then, we have continued to move up here. And by the way, the view has always been, at least my view, that somewhere alongside below 181, the price, the consolidation has done what it needed to do. The wave, the price has done what it needed to achieve in order to complete that correction, just based on Elliott Waves, the Elliott Wave method. Unfortunately, the target area that we had here is obviously quite large because that previous wave has been extended so much. So the fib levels are so much extended as well. That is why the initial target area was sitting here between 181 and 145. As we of course broke it, and we learned that altcoins oftentimes come down lower. For example, we saw it with XRP as well, coming down to the 0.887 fib level at 125, 124. So the target area was extended. Within this area then, with a high likelihood, the turnaround should have happened. Now it didn't quite, we dropped below it, but eventually we found support again. We came back into it, we reclaimed that level. And to be fair, the last time also here we had a very, very similar structure. I did show it to you many times before we come up here. And it's pretty much, the price is just mirroring what it did then in that first wave here, yeah, back earlier in the year 2021. But it well, it did the same thing, didn't it? It came down very much as well, pretty much to the beginning of that wave here, and then just consolidated very low. And I showed it to you various times, and it just means the price has already done what it needs to do to start that third wave to the upside. Because where we are here is we've done our wave 1 here back early in the year in May, done a wave 2 just after that. Need to be careful not to move any lines here. The second wave just after that. Then within that, we've seen a wave 1 here, a smaller degree, and a wave 2 where we are now. Possibly that's completed now, but it's far too early to say, so I can't confirm in any way that this is already a wave 3, because we've seen fake outs here and we've seen fake outs here. Yeah, so we're kind of used to fake outs. That's why I'm not too excited. We've also seen a small fake out here. The thing is, what is noteworthy this time is that we have definitely come above the 50-day moving average, which is important, and that we've now got a trigger event. And the trigger event is Sunday swap. And that is the swap in the DEX and the DApp that most people have been waiting for. For Cardano, it's pretty much like one of the key prestige projects on the Cardano blockchain, you could even say, even though more and more projects are launching. But Sunday swap is one of these ones that people just waited for. So I think that is going to help Cardano to move finally here. Bear in mind, there is this key resistance level at, yeah, pretty much here at 155 now, yeah. The next key level though, and we're going to go to the 4-hour chart for that. The next key level, and by the way, in the previous video, I told you that we're going to find some resistance at 140. That was purely based here on the, the technical target of that symmetrical triangle, yeah. So you get here to 140, and that's pretty much where we are now. So you can expect some resistance. Also, on top of that, we are now overbought on the 4-hour chart. So again, you expect a bit of a retracement maybe now before we move on. But it's not looking bad at the moment. It's actually looking quite good. So what we could imagine that we've got here something like a trend line. You know, you can draw that trend line, of course. Maybe not like that, more like that. And that then what you could be seeing here is the price, if it doesn't go down up straight away, I mean, could find some support here again, pull back to that trend line, and then approach the next line, which will be here at 145, which is a fib level, an important Fibonacci level, which is here the 0.786 level, the 145 Fibonacci retracement level, which has provided support before and is most likely here to provide some resistance. You know, you saw it here, finding resistance here, finding support there. There was a bit of trading around this area back here in August as well. Haven't spent too much time around this area, but we've got few points here where we've seen some trading around it, and this is where I would expect some resistance before we then gonna find some resistance, in my view, at this descending trend line. So it's far too early to say, is this the final breakout? Of course, it is too early to say, but it's starting to look really interesting. Yeah, basically because we've got that trigger event We've broken above the 50-day moving average. And that is, if we zoom out and take a look maybe on the weekly time frame, we can see that the current candle is really, I mean, the week is closing today. So if we can finish the week with such a nice candle, that'd be amazing. It's probably the largest candle that we've seen in this whole downtrend. And just by purely looking at the chart, you can see that the bulls are getting stronger down here, just purely by looking at the price action, which is a good way of analyzing a chart as well. And looking at the price action, you can see how strong the bulls are becoming, that at least there is a fighting between the bears and bulls, which is throughout this period, the bears were much stronger. But now that we've approached these key support levels down here, the 0.887 fib level, that orange trend line that we've been talking about a few times on this channel, and the $1 line, it has been, the bulls are getting stronger. And also what I told you in previous videos, the news about Cardano are getting more positive, which is a strong indicator that the sentiment is changing as well, and nothing else you're measuring with Elliott Waves as well. And as I showed you, the wave 3 should really take us to at least 450, possibly higher, more likely higher in the next wave up. But again, another reason what is really positive is here the ADA BTC chart. And even though, you know, we had fake outs, here for Cardano previously at various points. We had fake outs here, had a fake out here. What you didn't see then was that on the ADA BTC chart you saw a really nice move up. Well, if we were now on the weekly chart here, ADA BTC, that's the first time in this whole downtrend that we see such a nice candle emerging. It's the first time, and I've been telling you now for a few weeks that we are getting back into an uptrend here on the ADA BTC chart. And this is typically how it's starting, that you get back after a downtrend back into an uptrend. Now you can see that here. We came down, that was back in March. You came down and then you start to get into a slow uptrend before you start to pump. And that is what is happening this time as well. You get into this slow uptrend. After you've got the downtrend, you slow down the downtrend, you start a slow uptrend, and then you, at some point when you get to a breakout level, you really break out. And that is what could have happened yet. Of course, if you're very, very early in an uptrend, it's it's more risky, you know. That's the key. Generally, advice about trading or something that you can read in many books is, it's the first, you know, when you get in very early in a trend, that is the most expensive time you can actually get into a trade, because very early in a trend, when it's beginning, these can often be fake outs, and if the trade or the trend isn't confirmed yet, that is very expensive. So ideally you want to get in when a trend is confirmed. Of course you trade that off for possible profit, but you minimize your risk, and that is the decision that everybody needs to take on their own. That's what I can't help you with at all. I can be here to support, of course, and try to make sense of the charts with you. But overall, what we can see, you see this ascending trend line. You see this cup and handle pretty much that we talked about before, and this is playing out now. You can see now this breakout here. You've made a higher high for the first time. Would be great to get above that resistance level here next at 3250, but we've already broken here that immediate neckline of that sort of cup and handle here, which we didn't have last time. We didn't see such a reversal pattern here. W pattern, you could call it as well. We've got the second low is higher than the first low, and this is starting to look really, really interesting, especially together on the daily with that MACD, which is just going up. So next key resistance levels on the ADA USD chart, certainly 145, and then we've got here this descending trend line at 155. They are the next key levels before we then can approach here that 160 level, the previous high, and then we could push all the way up to 175 to 180 next. That's my view here at the moment. Still be aware that this could be a bit of a fake out, so nevertheless, I think it's a good chance that we could move up from here, possibly before Bitcoin does this final sell-off, at least put a buffer in place here. As I said, we're now going down a little bit here, and that could be that move that I show you here, that the beginning of a possible retracement and pullback, possibly to that trend line, which could be a pullback to around, depending on when it is happening here, to maybe 132, 133. But we need to hold that trend line in order to keep that trend going, All right, so hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.